Oh, yeah, you're doing the whole thing. I'm probably going to leave that in.
Oh, lordy.
Anytime you want to kick this off.
Okay, well, hello. This is Chewie Darso hosting After the Hype today because Brian hates this movie. And with us is Brian.
Yo.
John.
Hi.
Emily.
Hello.
And my friend Beth.
Hey.
Ask Beth if she has any plugs.
Oh,
It's going really well so far.
Beth, can you say your whole name?
Oh, my name's Elizabeth Anne Hanley.
Anne Hanley. And I've been trying to get Beth on for a long time.
Yes, you have.
Do you have anything to plug right now?
Well, right now I'm working on Grey's Anatomy. It's a little show nobody's heard of, but like we have high hopes for it. So if everyone could just keep watching seasons 14, 15, and 16,
Jesus
that would be
Christ.
amazing.
It currently has the highest paid female star like ever.
Yeah, it does. It's an empowering as
Who is that?
fuck.
I never remember her name.
Ellen Pompeo is the lead actress.
I don't watch the
And
show.
she just negotiated a $20 million a year contract, which is well deserved. She's been there 14 freaking seasons. So we were pretty jazzed about that.
So the future of television, it's just going to be Grey's Anatomy and Supernatural for the end of time.
Yeah. They're unstoppable forces, so don't fight it.
Why don't we have a crossover of
There
that
should
yet?
be a crossover where she's treating them and be like, guys, gotta stop fighting demons.
That would be the first episode of both that I
demon,
watch.
And they discovered a demon in the hospital, obvious.
I mean, guys, all they have to do is get hurt and then be taken through ER to Gray Sloan, and then they can be treated at the hospital. Done and done. We've written it.
Oh my God. Yeah, tell your bosses about that.
I've only
yeah.
watched...
The writers really listen to a set costumer.
You never know.
I only watched one episode of Grey's Anatomy my entire life, and it was the one with Christina Ricci, I believe, where she had to keep her hand inside of a dude's body because it had a bomb from World War II
that's a
stuck
really
in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is kind of dramatic. Like, this is cool.
It's all dramatic.
It's a drama.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of dramatic. I
I
guess
was just
I wonder
like,
what
so
dramatic
you have
is.
to keep your hand on the bomb inside the guy's chest or the bomb will go off. Yeah, no pressure.
No, not at all. What are you talking about?
Oh,
I would
yes,
just move my hand and go, ookie.
Fatherhood's going to be real shocking.
Yeah, it's going to be
Be
a hell
in
of a
the
trip.
room when the baby comes out, because then you might want to faint.
If you're
the
in the
couch.
hospital and hear somebody shrieking, ookie! That was me.
Got it.
It'll be the first time in your life when you can say, "I've seen some shit."
All right.
That's the first thing your baby's gonna hear.
Okay, perfect.
I'm moderating, so I have to rein this in.
You
we
do.
Have to continue with the actual show, guys.
Uh-huh.
What show again?
This
Down
is,
with
again,
Chewie.
After the Hype. And we're talking about a movie.
Where have you been doing?
Oh. Where have you been doing?
And then we have to do the breakdown.
This is as great as the movie we're going to talk about today.
I just never pay attention, I guess. All right, Brian, where have you been doing?
Okay, I finished 106 hours worth of video game this week, and I would say it's the best 106 hours I've spent in a video game since the original Mass Effect, and that was Persona 5. I talked about it a few weeks ago.
Still blowing my mind that you did it in less than a month.
Yeah, I played the fuck out of that game. It's I don't really want to say too much because if you're not interested in it, I'm not going to be able to sell you on it because it's a JRPG, and if you're not into JRPGs, this one's another one. But I think it has some of the best written characters. It's a great story. It's very anime, where at the end they're just like screaming feelings at each other, and it's like, if you're not into that, I get it, but and I'm usually not, but for some reason this one just really won me over. The characters are wonderful, the combat system is wonderful, the style of the game is wonderful. Like, I can't sing the praises of this enough. I've already started another playthrough, and I'll probably spend another 100 hours in it over the course of the next few months. Like,
Nice.
It's just so good.
What are you doing? What are you planning on doing different this time around?
Well, you have only like so much time. Like the way the game is set up, you only have like you have 2 time slots a day, and you get basically 9 months of gameplay. So however much time you get is how much time you get. So you can't basically get everyone on your side. Like there's 100 like NPCs that you're supposed to meet and interact with, and you not 100, but there's a lot, and you can only get so many. So I've seen all their stories now. So on another playthrough, I can go spend time with different people and get basically a whole different experience in different stories and whatnot. It's awesome.
On your playthrough, is there any way you can get one of your male characters to get in a sexy cat suit?
No, but I can't have them run around in just their bathing suits.
Can you do that? It'd be more fun for me.
Sure.
They're all like, all the male characters are wearing like these long leather jackets and things.
Yeah.
And then the girls are essentially dominatrixes.
Only one. The other girls aren't. One girl's a pirate.
A sexy pirate. Like she went to Party City.
Sure.
So it's all just bad Halloween costumes.
Oh yeah, but I mean they kind of make fun of that too because they're a bunch of teenagers. Like it's a bunch of kids in high school, and they're like, "Oh, you think this looks cool?" They're like, "Yeah, doesn't it?" No. It's just like it just has such a wonderful like just nature to the whole game. Like I love the fuck out of it, and everyone should play it if only for like the first 10 hours to see if you like it. That's it for me.
Okay, so I've probably talked about this before, but the new campaign for Critical Role just started about maybe 5-6 weeks ago, and new characters, kind of new everything, kind of starting from zero, level 1, being all super squishy and stuff, and I've been really enjoying it. It's been super fun, and now that everyone in the cast has played enough D&D to kind of not have to like look up the rules every single time, they can act their characters a lot more, and it's been hilarious. They've been leaning into the humor a lot more, and basically there hasn't been an episode where the DM, Matt Mercer, hasn't like lost it. And I feel like they're trying to, but the show is really fun, and it feels like they're in their stride now.
Have you guys integrated the newest thing, D&D? The Old Spice character option?
No, but I've looked at those rules. They seem legit.
Do it.
I mean, why not?
Do and report
There's-
back.
It is a little.
I want to hear about people using that.
I feel weird saying this, but it is a little OP.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit powerful, but
I mean, he just gets to say, I'm on a horse. And then
Right.
he gets to ride away with the woman.
or a unicorn.
Perfect.
Without a shirt. Yeah.
True, what about you?
Where I've been doing, I've continued my Grimm marathon by myself. Brian actually got really annoying that last night about it, and I had
was
to
just
be like,
asking questions.
Please turn it off. Well, you
Just-
were
I
asking
just
all
said
the
questions.
questions continually. You were like a 2-year-old asking me questions about Grimm. And
I'm just training you.
like, I can't explain everything. They're vested. They just did the thing. He's got to fight these alligator people that live underground, and
Like
that's
you do.
just the way Grimm is. Okay.
Why?
just imagine 2 of me.
Godspeed.
I've made a terrible mistake.
But other than that, I did watch one of the newest episodes of SVU. It's just interesting this year because, I mean, I've watched every episode of SVU. I had, like, because when they came on, Hulu or whatnot, it's one of those things where you're like, ooh, I can watch every episode. And
Hooray.
they feel like they're getting more political this year. They had a Me Too episode, and the episode that I just watched was... Oh, now why am I blanking on what I watched? Antifa, essentially. It's the whole premise was that this right-wing blonde lady, of course, went to a college, was spouting her right-wing stuff and calling all the liberals, snowflakes and shit, and she gets raped because it's SVU. And the whole episode is be like, all right, well, who raped her? Was it a member of Antifa or was it a neo-Nazi? And it was like, I mean, it's SVU, so it's heavy-handed, and they're trying to do it in the best way that they could without saying any particular side, because that's the whole thing in America right now where
There's good people on both sides.
no, that's not
No.
what the thing was, is that the cops were trying to stay unbiased because they're cops.
Yeah.
And the girl, none of them like the girl because she's crazy and right wing, and they're cops who are supposed to help everyone. And so they're trying to figure out if she's just blaming the Antifa guy because he's an Antifa and she wants to use this as a political act, or was one of her followers the guy who raped her because, they're misogynist dickholes. And it was, they did it good and bad. Everything on SVU is better than their Gamergate episode because that one was awful.
Gamergate was awful.
Which ironically enough, the villain in that Gamergate episode was Logan Paul, who did the
man.
Suicide Forest video.
That guy.
Which is like, you couldn't have seen that one coming.
They couldn't have picked a better guy to be a horrible video game douchebag.
I just hated the Gamergate episode because it ended with the girl saying it's my fault I got raped. And I was just like, what the fuck, SVU?
Never okay.
Yeah, how you kept watching that show after that, I don't understand.
Well, because they have a lot of good episodes.
No, I get that. I know
In
me. I would have
between.
rage
She's
quit.
just there for Ice-T. Is he
Yeah.
still on the show?
Yes.
Okay.
He's still one
I
of the
do like
best
Ice-T.
parts of the show.
It's a combination of citrus and meth, and we call it orange juice.
I think one of the most
I love that meme.
disappointing moments of Rick and Morty was when they had Ice-T as a character and it wasn't actually voiced by Ice-T. I was like,
Oh.
oh, that was an opportunity, guys.
Yeah.
It would have been pretty cool.
But it's interesting to watch SVU right now they're trying so hard to be involved in the discussion, but they have to be a TV show about cops, which technically, when you're a TV show, you're not really supposed to choose sides either, and you're not supposed to choose sides when you're a cop. So
I will say I'm amazed at how they can keep their only rule is just it's about rape, and yet they managed to keep that show. There's another show. It'll be Grey's Anatomy and Supernatural and fucking Law and Order SVU to the end of time.
women are always getting raped.
Well, SVU also does kidnappings. Don't forget that. They fill out
that's
some
true.
of
They
it with
sometimes do.
kidnappings.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a little bit of a Venn diagram of rape and kidnapping.
So the
Sometimes the kids get raped.
the second the next crossover is going to be
leave.
SVU and Grey's Anatomy and Supernatural.
It's gonna be a
That's
sad,
difficult.
messed
That's
up
three
episode.
different networks to be able to cross over.
That
between.
crossover is gonna make me feel 3 different ways.
The last crossover episode thing I watched was Bones with Sleepy Hollow, and that was
that was weird.
I didn't like it.
Weirder than the Family Guy one?
The Family Guy Simpsons one?
No, the Family Guy Bones one.
I'm like, what? But that's where I've been doing. So Emily,
I've had so much work this week. I haven't had time to be doing anything other than work. So I'll talk about what I've been doing the past few weekends when I've been leaving here, or the one weekend where I had to miss the one episode. I'm in a new relationship new enough that I'm learning all of my boyfriend's things. And he is in the Society for Creative Anachronism. So every weekend I've been going to watch dudes beat dudes with sticks while wearing armor. And there's a king and queen. Well, not anymore. They abdicated. Because he's in the kingdom. Okay, guys, it's so political. It's crazy. People get dressed up in period accurate. Okay, the Society for Creative Anachronism is basically LARPers, but it's this whole community, and it's all pre-1600s. So the first I heard about it, I was like, oh, cool. I can make a corset. And he was like, no corsets. And I was like, oh. So that was my big disappointing. I can't wear a corset thing. Also, he's like, Ren Fair is not appropriately period accurate.
yeah,
anyway.
corsets didn't come till later.
Yeah, I know. Like right after though. We're almost at corsets.
Ahead of my time.
So anyway, it's a whole thing. Everybody's all dressed up. Everybody all talks in courtier language, and then dudes beat dudes with sticks, which is super fun.
That sounds really fun, actually.
Yeah, I like to go and watch that because then I get to watch my boyfriend, who I find attractive, beating other men with sticks. And then
You just made it sound really homoerotic.
It is though. You're not wrong. But it's also just awesome. But what's one thing that's cool is they're on the honor system. So dude will be like, oh, you that was good. You got me, and very rarely is anybody a dick about it, although sometimes they are. And then, but there's this whole political thing because it's the Kingdom of Kaid, and just a couple weeks ago, the King and Queen of Kaid wore robes that had this pattern on it that is an ancient Greek symbol that is resemblant of a swastika.
Oh my God! Some of my friends were posting about that.
Yeah, and it caused a huge uproar to the point where people accusing them of being Nazis, and they ended up abdicating because it was too much. And
some things you can't take back.
yeah, and I mean it is a historical symbol.
I know,
that
but
they used, but whoever made the robe should have maybe thought ahead about. But in the past, people have worn that symbol before. It's just that in the era of Trump and neo-Nazis, it was a bigger issue than it has ever been before. So that was, and I was just as someone who's sort of just starting to get into it, I was like, oh dear God! I went to a party and everyone was talking about it, and one dude was getting really pissed, and it was a whole thing. So that's what I've been doing. But it's really fun watching dudes beat dudes with sticks, is what I'm saying.
As long as there's no swastikas on the sticks.
No swastikas on your sticks or your
Okay,
shield.
Cool.
Last but not least.
Oh, hi. I have been watching Harlots on Hulu.
Oh, it's so good.
Yes. And I started and I was like, I don't know about this. And then got immediately sucked in. And then 8 hours later, I was done with the show and really bummed out that it was all done. And then I went online and read that Liv Tyler's going to be in season 2.
Really?
What?
And I almost fell over myself with happiness.
I just have not seen her in much at all.
She's in The Leftovers.
She's in The Leftovers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
never
didn't watch
watched it.
that.
And she's being a mom and raising her kids or whatever. Something responsible.
So, the last thing I saw was Space Station 76.
I'm going to be really irresponsible.
Yeah.
Cool. You heard it here first.
The giant bear will be your babysitter.
That'll be great.
All right. Is nothing to add? Reason to
no.
like Harlots?
I mean,
Okay.
it's gorgeous to look at because I'm a costumer. I'm always just oh, that's amazing. But I like that it's told from the lady's perspective instead of a gentleman's perspective. It's two women who run their own brothels. One is like a high classy bitch, and one is like low class who's working her way up, and they both have vendettas against each other, and it's all like gossip and sex and just like gorgeous to look at.
Nice.
Sex usually isn't gorgeous to look at, so.
No, but
good.
like corsets
Corsets.
and like ribbons and high hair is really beautiful to look at.
Yeah, there's Rococo in there on the fancy lady side.
Oh yeah. Oh, like hardcore.
Okay. Well, so should I move in? Brian's looking at me. I guess I should move into the movie now.
Yeah, I can
Where?
start with the stuff we used to do back in the day.
Oh, Brian would like to share a user review on the internet, which we always know is such a beautiful place.
It's such a wonderful place, and because this movie is so near and dear to my heart, I felt that I had to bring this back. So what we used to do is we used to do numbers and we used to do user reviews. I think like 80 episodes ago or something like that. So I'll do both because we're gonna have to bring both of these up.
I think you stopped doing it after BVS, and this movie might be my BVS.
It might be. Okay, so this was a big deal for Warner Brothers. They spent a shit ton on this movie. They spent 120 million on the first shoot, and then an additional 15 on the second shoot. And then it made 218, only 33 of which was in the stateside. So we did not give a fuck about this movie.
It's a slow burn, guys. It's gonna get there.
Sure. Just keep telling Warner Brothers that because they're going, fuck. Everything we backed this year sucked. Okay, so the user review comes from Metacritic. This guy disagrees with me. Maybe not. He gave it 10 out of 10, and his name is Graham433. This
All right,
review-
Graham Mason, we see you.
There's a chance this is dripping with sarcasm. Here we go. This year, there was a list of movies I was excited for. Power Rangers, I saw it, 10 out of 10. Transformers, saw it, 10 out of 10. Emoji Movie, saw it, 1 million out of 10.
Oh, God.
Monster Trucks, saw it, 10 out of 10.
There was a movie called Monster Trucks?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a whole
it's
different
about
thing.
aliens who are inside of trucks, and you drive the aliens in the truck.
I was about to make a horrible
amazing.
joke.
Okay.
I'm going to skip it. And it was a bad one, just so you know. And then Diary of a Wimpy Kid, 10 out of 10. And then Geostorm. And at the bottom of the list, Geostorm. And you know what they say? Save the best for last. This movie was fucking phenomenal. CGI was immaculate. It was better than Avatar CGI-wise. It made me want to watch it for the rest of my life. Gerard Butler, now this guy's a fucking legend. He was in Gods of Egypt, which is the godfather of Egypt movies. Olympus Has Fallen, like Taken but better, and Movie 43, which I can't pretend to love that movie because I don't. I love it with a cherry on top. That's right, folks, a cherry on top. From the producer behind Eight-Legged Freaks, Independence Day Resurgent, saw it, 10 out of 10, and The Librarians. Wait, that show is actually kind of good. Season 3 was bad, but the other two were... he only produced season 3. Shit.
Is that actually how it's written?
It says season 3 was bad, but the other two were. Oh, he only produced season 3.
Oh my God,
I
that's
added
awesome.
the shit. I am not joking. When I searched for the director's name on Google, the first image with him popped up, and David Ayer of Suicide Squad. I saw it, 10 out of 10. And then in all caps to finish it off, this movie is the embodiment of Jesus Christ.
Wow.
So that's our user review.
Sounds like. Are you sure that wasn't written by Jason Mantzoukas?
Are you sure it wasn't written by a 10-year-old who just got their hands on a laptop?
I found that pretty wonderful and felt I had to share.
All right, well, after that glowing review, so yes, we're talking about Geostorm today, everybody, which was my choice because it was my choice to see it in theaters.
Wait, you paid to see this in a
We
theater?
did.
And then paid to rent it. I've paid for this fucking thing
I
twice.
really did not enjoy paying for this
So
movie.
you guys alone are going to help Warner Brothers just make it back, is what you're saying.
That's Chewie's goal, not mine.
I'm slow burn, guys. So I wanted to talk about this movie today because honestly, I do feel like it's underappreciated. But before we actually go into that, Beth does need to do her 30-second breakdown, which she has been expressing to me via text.
So much for this.
But I love you.
Everyone.
You have to intro it.
All right, so today we're talking about Geostorm, and right now Beth, the lovely Beth, is going to break it down in 30 seconds or less. And, you know, this is a very complex movie, so no pressure.
Thanks so much.
You have to give it a go.
All right, go.
Okay, Geostorm is the everyman story of Gerard Butler as a scientist, weatherman, contractor, engineer, and HR specialist who builds a space station that can manipulate the weather to combat global warming. He, of course, is fired by his brother for being a loose cannon, but years later goes back to space to fight nefarious bad guys who are causing his weather machine to do evil. With the help of his little brother on Earth, they are able to stop a geostorm.
Yeah, I'd say that did it.
And just like the movie, we had a countdown, guys.
Oh boy, it actually sounded better when she
Yeah,
pitched
you made
it.
it sound really eloquent.
You skipped over all the fucking talking.
And unlikable characters.
I mean, if the movie was what she just pitched, I would not be bitching about doing it today.
No, she did pitch it. That is what the movie is.
Sure.
That's how they sold it.
Yeah.
And then they made it.
All right. Well, so we're going to talk about Geostorm. And I know that I am the minority about this movie. Not just at this table, but in life.
Phrasing.
I enjoyed this movie. Most people did not. But I went into this movie going, I know exactly what this is. And when we watched it, I went, okay, that was exactly what I thought I was going to get, and I enjoyed it.
Can you explain to me exactly which aspects you enjoyed in this film? Because by saying you enjoyed it, that's a blanket statement. That's meaningless.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if I wanted to go into all the details right now, or...
Well,
I mean,
jump
we
into
are-
something, because I mean, we're all coming at this like hard. Like, this sucked. And
Okay.
You're going to hear a lot of disparagement of this
Yeah.
movie
That's
today.
fine. So when I saw the trailers for this movie, it brought me back.
To the Geostorm era?
It brought
remember
me
Geostorms?
back
Her
to the
childhood
90s,
of
guys.
Well, the great Geostorm of '97. Let's not forget.
Exactly. The great Geostorm 97.
I lived in
Back
Iowa in
when-
'93 when the flood almost wiped out the whole state. That was kind of a geostorm.
I was in North Dakota. The Red River rose.
All right. But you remember the good old days, pre 9/11, when we made these disaster movies that were filled with heart, where we got Volcano, where they said, like, the end of the message, everyone looks the same,
That's
Daddy.
the worst part of that
I
movie.
know, it's so bad.
Sorry, Brian.
It's okay.
But it's just where the dialogue was heavy, none of the characters really mattered, the special effects was up and down on quality, but you had fun watching people die. And it's just like, I was like, all right, we're going back to the 90s with Geostorm, guys. We're so innocent. Everything's going to be so great. We're going to solve this problem and the world's going to love each other. And that's kind of the way this movie was. Like,
Yeah, but all those movies that you're talking about were fun.
There you
Like,
go.
they were
I
just...
I had fun with this movie. I
I
don't know
didn't-
why I'm the only one that
When?
did.
I told the last third I think is okay, and like it's so good compared to the first 2/3, but the last third has like double cross after double cross after double cross, and
There's
has
explosions in it.
explosions. There's a car chase with lightning, like it just goes off the walls. I'm like, if the whole movie had sequences like this, I'm in. Like,
Where's your Eiffel Tower exploding?
But that,
Yeah.
if it was that the entire time, it wouldn't be a 90s movie. Because 90s movies, when you go back to them, had lots of dialogue.
No,
at the
they did,
beginning.
but they also had
Took
inciting
a long
incidents.
time to get
and
to
they were
the end.
fun. They
But-
were fun. Like even as like think about when is it Armageddon? I think it's Armageddon where like a meteor comes down and blasts into the pavement, and then some dude's got his dog, and his dog's like dangling from a leash in the hole that the thing just
that's
caused, and everybody's like,
Armageddon.
ah.
It is
You know,
Armageddon.
it's
But you know what Armageddon is?
fun.
It's Michael Bay. And
Yeah.
I was telling Brian, this movie's Michael Bay without the douche.
without the fun part.
Without the douchey part.
Maybe the
Well,
douchey
yeah.
part is the fun part.
Yeah, I see. The thing is, like, this guy, the guy who directed this movie, he's not like a slouch. Like, he's been around forever, but he always works with Roland Emmerich, and it's like Roland Emmerich makes these
The
movies.
director is Dean Devlin,
Sorry,
by the way.
Dean
Yeah,
Devlin.
Dean
But like Dean Devlin has worked with Roland Emmerich. Who knows how many times?
lot.
And they make fun, stupid movies. But Roland has to be the guy who's bringing that fun because Dean did not. Like, and I get what you're saying. Like, it feels like kind of a stupid weather movie from the '90s. Like, it'd fall right in with Dante's Peak, Volcano, Deep Impact, like any of those things. But it just those movies had this level of camp and like silliness to them that this one I felt like kept thinking that it had while never actually having it. Like,
I think it probably had it before they had the reshoots, honestly.
and it's a possibility. And that's something
I don't
we'll
know.
never
I don't know what they added, what they took away. But if people, these movies don't do well. Everyone likes to talk about right now how, oh my god, I love 2012. Did you? Because no one really went to it when it was out.
You know what movie did do well that it sounds like you were describing was San Andreas with The Rock.
Actually,
That was
that
a
was
disaster film, and it was fun, and it had that whole nostalgia thing you were talking about, and it did well. This is
enjoyed
no
the
San Andreas.
but
Man.
I
I should be on the back of the box.
Of which one?
San Andreas was, I don't know. I had a lot of fun watching San Andreas, but I enjoy this one more because the dialogue is so stunted and so over the top and everything.
And comes out of the mouths of fully unlikable characters.
that's fine with me.
Yeah, can we talk about the relationship between the brothers, which was supposed to be the core of this movie?
The
How many years apart are
20-year
they?
different brothers.
Yeah.
See, I'll give
But
this.
they grew up
They
together.
grew up together and they were close.
But they're like, we never...
So they lived next to his college university. Like they lived next to
they
MIT.
totally did.
The entire time they're separated, but I never feel like they have a relationship I give a shit about. Like, and I think this is related. Like some of the way I was noticing the way it's shot. So when we're on the space station, Gerard Butler is looking at his brother on the screen, and it's clearly a screen. It's digitally put in, and you see his side of the conversation. When we flip around to the brother, we're POV of the screen on the brother in his location. We never see the reverse, and I think it's things like that it was really bothering me, and it was pulling me out, and it made me feel like they weren't in the same space together, and it just never...
Thematically, they weren't.
Yeah, thematically they weren't.
I like to say
but
they didn't want to pay for that fourth wall at Washington.
But like, weirdly enough, that particular scene you're mentioning, I thought it was interesting that the younger brother was bigger than the older brother.
Yeah,
In the way they
it's
framed
had
that.
a very Star
Yeah.
Warsy feel about
This
it
movie,
with that.
and what
They
I
were
get,
all the Emperor when we were at Washington.
like, I also didn't like this movie, but I liked it more than you guys. Maybe I was a little bit more middle of the road. I tend to be that way on a lot of the movies these days, but I thought their relationship was funny. But because of that, like, that had plans to be very serious and thematic, but then you had Gerard Butler doing something,
Gerard Butler.
and this other brother doing like
Gerard Butler was trying harder in this film than his brother was. Than
Jim
Jim
Sturgis.
Sturgis, who Brian has to keep reminding me is British because Jim Sturgis does not sound British at all.
Did you like the line where Gerard Butler's like, we were raised in the UK, we were born in the
Yeah.
UK, but we were raised like this. By the way, we both have accents. Don't pay any attention to it. Anyway.
Our dialect coach sucks.
Jim Sturgis also has the same haircut in every movie he
Yes, he
ever
does.
does. They never makes me wonder whether or not they can comb his hair.
It might just be painted on.
Yeah, I don't know.
it's not
Maybe
real
he
hair.
just really enjoys the disheveled look.
But you're not supposed to have when you're supposed to be an important member of the
good
government.
point.
Like, he
Tell
has
that to
high
Bernie
security
Sanders.
clearance.
That's a
Well,
great one.
Bernie tries. His hair is just really
He
wide.
tried when he started running for president, but until then, he was the crazy-haired congressman.
I mean, our president
senator.
has crazy hair. All the
Our
rules
president
are fucking
doesn't
gone.
have hair, and he tries to just
see-
kind of mop it around.
The scene at the council meeting or the Senate meeting where Gerard Butler's about ready to jump over the table and either beat the shit out of that senator or kiss him was hilarious for me. It was getting so heated, and I was like,
It's
There's
so
certain
out of left
but-
field.
yeah,
There's no build up to it.
No.
So
build up.
here's where I'll jump in. So what I think is happening, and I could be wrong, but so for those of you who don't know, this movie was supposed to come out early 2016, came out late 2017. So this thing has been like in the works for a long time. Basically what happened was they finished the movie, did a whole bunch of test screenings, and they went horribly. Like,
Well, yeah.
horribly. So they spent another $15 million to rewrite. They brought on Jerry Bruckheimer, who refused to be credited. Like,
I mean, he doesn't even make movies anymore much anymore.
yeah, he still produces stuff, but
I
not
never
under the
see
same.
presented by Jerry.
Yeah, no, I don't think he does a lot under that banner anymore. But still, he works. But yeah, so he didn't get credited. They brought on different writers. They brought on the director wasn't available. They brought on a new director. Like the woman who played the mom wasn't available, so they swapped out the mom. Like they reshot this movie.
Holy shit.
And what I think happened is that the movie, I could be wrong here, but the movie that Chewie loves is still in here in parts, and I think that's what John was watching. So when, like, that sequence, like, where Gerard Butler's like, oh, I'm sorry I'm late. I only had to fly in from space. Like,
Come on, it's a good line.
and he said that like he was in a Nolan movie, and I thought it was so wild.
but I think, I could be wrong, but I
Yeah.
think that was the first movie.
That's what I mean.
I think there was a
it
campy,
better
stupid
before that.
movie that people saw and like, we're done with these. That was the 90s. Why are you making another one?
Right.
And they tried to overcorrect with this like super serious,
Yeah.
super smart sci-fi movie
think-
and just watered down the whole fucking experience.
I think the entire opening and end with the whole thinking about global warming with the daughter narrating, I think that was all added in later. I don't think that was in the first cut because that does not fit the tone of the movie at all.
There
I
is
also
no
thought it-
tone to this movie. The tone's
can we-
all over the place.
Can we talk about the fucking precocious kid?
She was unlikable though. Because she just kept throwing little fits, and she'd be like, "This is why mom's angry." But why? I'm a viewer. I wasn't there for the history
Right.
of this relationship. Why is mom angry? Why are you
I didn't
Ubering
need
to the
that.
airport alone?
I didn't want there to be a bunch
He
of
didn't come home from
exposition in
space
this
one
movie.
weekend. He didn't come home from space
kid
one
was
weekend.
like 40 years old though. Like she was this tiny little like I am an adult and I make lots of decisions and I say intelligent things.
That was another thing from the late 90s,
That's
early
true.
2000s, which
That's
was
true.
the plucky,
That's true.
really
That's
smart
true.
girls.
I mean, yeah, that's
I
like
bet Dakota Fanning became Dakota Fanning because of that.
That's a good
Oh,
point.
yeah.
All right, I'll give you that.
yeah. I mean,
Annoying.
I didn't have a problem with her character in that regard, like the overly smart, like 14-year-old. I kind of enjoy that character in movies every now and then. This one, I felt like they wrote that character, they let her be in the movie, and then forgot about her.
Yeah.
And it's like
She's supposed to be the emotional grounding. And I'm like, I don't need any emotional grounding.
yeah, but she's only in the movie for 8 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, but-
Like I can't be
That's the
grounded
reshoot.
in a 2-hour movie with
Yeah.
8 minutes
And
of a
that-
character.
and
Also, we
that's-
got to ask, how did like CNN or whatever that their news company, how'd they get the camera up there into space to watch the space station blow up?
Elon Musk.
Satellites. Satellites.
But
Yeah,
that's a really
satellite.
good point. Like
HD
that we don't
quality.
have enough of that little girl because one of the things that all those disaster movies really did was like ground each disastrous moment in something. So the girl would be in direct peril and we'd be really concerned about the fate of his daughter. And
Atlanta was fine.
Yeah, and then you'd have like one character who you'd get to think is funny, and then they'd be in the middle of the disaster. And even though you never got that character's name, you still cared about them enough to be like, oh no, they died. And there was a grounding in each. Instead, here shit was just blowing up, and we might see a person in the distance running, and that's as close as
But
you
like
get.
there's that character in with like the gas main that was exploding, which could have been a really cool sequence, and it
Yeah.
just didn't really
Chang.
work. Yeah,
Yeah.
But like that guy, you had your moment. There was
Yeah.
a guy that you can ground. Like okay, so
More
we
of
watch
that.
him, and
And he likes cats.
like yeah, so there was things that was cool about that character, and then as soon as we really start to experience it, they off him, and it's like okay, well that's how, you just had something where you could have grounded us to what's going on Earth.
It's because they tried to make it.
A mystery.
They tried to make it more political. I think that was another thing that they threw in all the stuff about global warming with the beginning and the end, and then they threw in the political stuff, probably post-Trump things about.
But it's not the thing that like drives me insane about this movie is especially the political stuff. They didn't get like hackney bullshit actors. Like they got Academy Award nominated actors.
Garcia.
Yeah, Andy Garcia, Ed Harris.
Ed Harris,
And
yeah.
now Grant Ed Harris is wearing his best like I'm not going to betray you face. Like
I props to Ed Harris being a very comfortable in his skin man. He never requested an apple box. He was always shorter than Jim Sturgis. And props to that, guys. You got to give it to him.
unless
Tom
Jim
Cruise.
Sturgis was on Apple boxes.
No.
Dun dun dun.
Tom Cruise would have demanded apple boxes around that corner.
He didn't on Edge of Tomorrow. I like bringing that up. They used
That's
his height
because
for
Edge
comedy.
of Tomorrow's. We love that movie.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm not going to go into that too much.
Way better than this movie.
Let's talk about Edge of Tomorrow.
The other thing that I kind of equate this movie to is Godzilla in a way. I was trying to talk to Brian about this.
Which one?
Just the
Just
franchise
the
in
idea
general.
of Godzilla, because like especially after the last American Godzilla movie came out, I had to argue with so many people about it because they'd be like, it was boring. They had all these people in it. I didn't care about them. I just wanted to get to Godzilla, and he didn't get into it till like 45 minutes, an hour until the movie. I'm like, yeah, but that's Godzilla. Godzilla is never right away in the movie. That's never how it works. Godzilla always takes forever to get to you. They always throw in all these characters that you're not going to care about that are driving the narrative forward. That is just Godzilla movies. And to me, that was kind of this movie. Because a lot of people complain that we didn't get the Geostorm until way late.
No, you didn't get the Geostorm at all. They prevent the Geostorm. At least in Godzilla, you get Godzilla.
We got a lot of precursors. to the
And
Geostorm.
all those disaster movies, at their heart, good or bad, are about family. That just like the Fast and the Furious.
Coronas.
Crossover, guys. Anyway, God, we got so
They
many.
haven't
good
done that
ones.
yet.
We got to
They
rob the
haven't-
Geostorm.
They haven't fought weather yet in any of those movies.
I think the question you're all missing is why isn't Gerard Butler in Fast and the Furious?
I know, right?
Oh, he'd fit in so well.
Yeah, you would.
They got two more.
but I mean,
you have the
yeah.
chance.
But their ham-fisted attempt to bring the brother to hinge this all on the brothers, it just did not work, and that's what makes a lot of those
well,
movies
they don't
work.
look anything like brothers.
No, they don't, and they don't act like brothers, and they're separated for the entire movie, and they're just, and even when they're separated, there's not a moment where you feel like they're really friends. You're just like, I don't know. It just, they didn't have any chemistry together.
The only thing I'd push back on is I felt they had chemistry in the very last scene of the movie, like when they're fishing, like when they're actually fishing.
Yeah,
that,
okay.
That was the
At
one
the
moment
end
where
of
it's
the
like,
movie.
oh wait, you could tell these guys are actually kind of
Could
friends.
you
off
guys
set.
have instead opened the movie with something like
Yeah,
that,
like, 'cause-
and then shown us them together liking each other?
I don't know, like having them be like unbelievable at first until the end. Is,
Well,
at
'cause
least to
they
try
were-
to pay
they
it
were
off.
had, like,
supposed to like each
flashback.
other.
Yeah,
We could have started with the moment when they were still friends.
because I
and
mean,
then
I feel
watched
like
them
if
have a
we knew
falling
that they
out.
were okay with each other,
We already got a movie with shoehorned in narration. We don't need to shoe him in.
Oh, so much
flashbacks.
narration.
No, but okay. So
Wait, what-
just take for example. So they do the horribly written foreshadowing of we have our own secret code, and it's like, okay, I get it. Like this is going to come back. You could have fixed that with doing a flashback of them as children using the code to talk to each
Ooh.
other, and then suddenly we have an establishment that they used to live together. They were friends. They have a code. The code can come back, and you don't need any bullshit dialogue. Look, I just fixed part of your movie.
Go, Brian.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
You're wearing a purple shirt.
all right, Christopher Nolan,
None of that was Nolan-esque.
Yeah, that wasn't
That was
Nolan-esque.
Grimm.
you did it. You did over explain a lot of what.
If it was Nolan-esque, they would have been at a dinner table, and one of the characters would have just described the entire situation without showing. it.
Right, for sure. And then
Man,
you would hear
you
about like
guys
bomb as the Geostorm hits.
Can we not hate on Nolan again?
It's funny in the Ex Machina episode just listened to. I joke about like, man, we hate on Nolan too much.
Thing is, we love Nolan.
That's
we
the thing
just-
is, yeah.
He needs to play to his strengths and less to his weaknesses, which
I also like taking
Yeah.
cheap shots. This
I mean,
is fun.
I'll say it here now. He's one of my favorite filmmakers.
He's
I
amazing.
love taking shots at him.
he just needs to lay. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
He's
so
just really good
Beth,
with
what else
exposition,
do you have to
unlike this
say?
piece of shit movie.
well, here,
What else does Beth have to say?
Oh, when I was watching it, I just started writing down questions, continuous questions with no answers.
let's do. Give me 3 of your questions. Let's do your top 3 questions, and then there's something I actually want Chewie to talk about.
Okay, the long con of the plan that's put into place. How long and far back was Ed Harris planning this out?
Birth.
Like the day the president was sworn in, a few months in, when he was like, I could do a better job than this. I don't want to run for president or anything.
His first words were, "I want to be the president."
I want to murder a president and become president.
And then he'll stand on an apple box behind a podium.
What
Question answered. Number 2.
What is Gerard Butler's specialty? He says he built it. He says he designed it. He says he hired everyone who works there. He understands weather patterns, and he's a scientist. What is he?
He's
the
How
Elon
many
Musk.
degrees
He's the
does he
Steve
have?
Jobs of Geostorm.
No, Steve Jobs just sold things. He didn't build things.
but he
Elon
inspired
Musk
But like
of
a
Geostorm.
scientist. He's a scientist. He does science things, but also construction things.
Oh, that's
He's
a
a
regular
he's kind of-
specialty
he's
out
kind
there.
of this,
Damn
like-
scientist.
He kind of brings
Question
it.
2 answered. How about number 3?
And every now and then he dresses up in a cloak and sings Phantom
He
songs.
brings an everyman quality to the super
Ooh.
genius god figure.
Oh, maybe I just missed this one because I was doing my taxes while I was watching this movie.
You have to stay awake somehow.
Why
Exactly.
Don't do taxes, which makes everyone unhappy while watching this
No,
movie.
doing my taxes makes me very happy.
Really?
Yes. I'm a weirdo that way. But anyway, maybe I missed it. But towards the end of the movie, poor man's Katherine Heigl kept saying,
Poor man's Brie Larson, please.
no,
man's
poor man's
I just
Katherine
call her
Heigl
Sweet Pea.
kept saying, we're engaged. I'm his fiance. I'm his fiance. Did I miss him
No.
ask her?
He
No,
talked
she asserted
about
herself.
it. They
She says it
talked
once.
about it.
No,
and-
she said it 3 freaking times.
I
she
only
does.
remember her saying it
no,
once at the end.
when he was in bed with her, he mentioned the idea of going like public, maybe getting married, and then she was just like no. And then later on, when he was doing cool things, she was just like, oh, by the way, we're engaged. So I guess she took his maybe we should think about getting married as a proposal that she later just went.
They really
I
lean-
think we'll skip over the part.
I-
That could backfire.
They really lean hard on that.
really enjoyed her character.
That's who I wanted you to talk about.
She's actually one of the reasons why I like this movie.
Poor man's Katherine Heigl. Gosh.
Poor man's
Sure.
Brie Larson.
She is,
I like
would
her
go
more
Brie
than
Larson.
Katherine Heigl.
If Katherine Heigl and Brie Larson had a daughter,
Because, okay,
I'll give you that.
I don't
Yeah, there we
know.
go. All right.
if you guys noticed, but this movie's oddly progressive. One, there is only, I looked at the IMDb, counted while watching this movie, there's only one more man than woman that has multiple lines of dialogue in this film. There's almost equality in the casting and dialogue of this film, gender-wise. And you have a woman who's a top-ranking
Astronaut.
Secret Service. Secret Service.
Secret Service.
Yeah.
Oh, also astronaut.
Yes, astronaut, but I'll get to her later.
Astronaut.
Astronaut. There were no women in the
you guys
NASA.
break up my flow,
Guys,
I
there,
ruined it.
however,
Sorry.
there were no women in the NASA control room, but that's fine.
Yes, there was tons of... Oh, wait, yes, NASA. I actually pointed
None.
that out, too.
Yeah.
But NASA was all old guys in polos as well.
Yeah.
That sounds like NASA to me.
There are women in the NASA
But,
control
okay,
room.
we have a very strong woman who is in the Secret Service, and she's not low in the Secret Service. She's high. She's up there next to the president. People take orders from her.
She kidnaps.
And not a
And she walks away from
Not
on
a
the
single-
line when the plane is landing.
Okay.
She pulls her boyfriend aside to throw away her
She's
career
not
and
good at
ask
her
why
job
he's there.
at all.
But whatever, guys.
I'd say she's good at her job.
She's
It's different
ne-
circumstances.
All right. No one
You
questions.
knew this was coming, Chewie.
This is a movie with a woman in a high-ranking position, and no one questions her abilities.
She didn't get the plate on the car that hit that guy.
The what?
The other the scientist that they were meeting in like DuPont Circle, when he's hit by a car, she sees a guy get in a car, pulls out her gun to fire, and doesn't get the plate off the car.
All right,
Point.
so but no one actually questions her.
Yeah, everyone just
Which
accepts that
normally
she didn't
in
do it.
movies
That she's
like
bad at her
this,
job.
there would be somebody else in the Secret Service going, "Oh, we shouldn't hire women" or something like that.
No, I do
That's
agree.
a normal thing. It's
No,
so
I-
rare for us to get a woman in her position who's very confident, very career driven, and never put down by anyone else around her.
Yeah,
That's fair. Totally fair.
There's
I will
no
fully
moment
give
of
you
like,
that.
oh, come on, toots, you don't know what you're doing. Like they
Yeah.
don't have anything like
No.
that. Like it's
Even the president, when she says, "You have to come with me," just goes with her. He trusts her.
I like how they're- as they're-
everyone trusts her.
Their relationship too is actually like she says, "No, this is what I want." And he's like, he kind of whines a little bit, but then acquiesces. He's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
He listens to her
I'm
weirdly.
like, I loved it. There's so rare to find a woman in a movie where her power is never diminished.
That's true.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I, like,
unlike the lady captain of the ship,
Yeah,
where
well,
Gerard
that
Butler
was-
just diminished her the
That was
second he
Gerard
got on board.
Butler, but she put him in his place right away.
Do you think in the original version there was a romance between the two of them?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm
definitely.
happy they got
There
rid
wasn't
of that.
in
if There
this.
was, but she was up and down for me. She did. The casting of her, like, it was nice to see that they didn't cast her as either a really ugly scientist or a super beautiful scientist. She's somewhere in the middle.
She's not Denise Richards.
Yeah, she's somewhere in the middle.
Denise Richards, physicist.
But she did feel weak the entire time. I did not attach myself to her character as much.
You didn't love it when she just showed up literally
No.
out of nowhere.
Oh my God, no.
But,
Oh
took,
my God.
but took the time to put
She's-
on her spacesuit with
she's
the
just been
German
sitting there.
flag on the arm, even though the entire space station is blowing up.
There was this whole nationalism thing that never, like, it was always like this undercurrent. Like that British dude who was the most obvious villain of all time.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he
Curse
was
your son of an
so,
inevitable trail.
so British. And he was so like, by the way, FR, I'm British. I'm very, very British. And you're
I
not
love
British.
football and crumpets.
Okay, that is
Not
just
an American cowboy.
And then he made comments about being American, but it never like paid off. Because
that is just so cliche science. Space station thing that was in Armageddon. That
That's
was
just
in
standard
that thing.
No, I
space
know, but
talk
it
is what
did.
you're saying.
That was in Cloverfield
But it
Paradox.
didn't pay off. Like, in fact, if this is a geostorm, how come the entire fucking geostorm was happening in America?
No, it
When-
wasn't.
I mean,
it was happening in Rio
all
de
of our-
Janeiro
all of our-
and
but-
Japan
oh, that's
and
true.
Russia.
We did see some people. Okay, I did like the thing in Rio where all the people were freezing coming out of the beach.
With the
okay,
girl
that
who was doing her
I forgot
best
about that.
90s run, guys. Back to
That
the
was good.
90s
I did
again.
love
That-
the
Okay, I take
birds
back what I
falling
said.
out
That-
She's doing
that-
the arms down, the hands kind of flopping. Somehow I'm running really fast while doing this.
I
run.
kind of like I laughed a lot during that scene just because of the sound the birds made and like thunk thunk thunk.
She
And then,
runs
like,
a crashing frozen
She does.
plane.
It's amazing. She's attractive. In her
Yeah,
bikini.
that whole
in
sequence.
like flip flops. I mean, come on.
and just totally ditches her boyfriend.
Yeah,
oh,
she looks back She doesn't even blink.
All I can say is I hope that if I'm ever caught frozen like that, I too am reaching out for my loved one as they run away, and I'm like hold that pose for eternity.
If I was running away and Chewie's like 20 yards in front of me and she turns back and I'm frozen, she's getting the finger. Like, you couldn't have waited.
I think
was going to die.
from a humorous standpoint, I do think that particular scene is very inspired because
That was the best
as I'm
scene
watching
of
this,
the movie for me.
I'm like, what else can we do to this? Like, let's Mad Libs this. Let's add more things to it. And it's like a plane. I bet they should put a plane is coming. All right, this is cool. What if it crashes in there? The wings break. Okay, like I'm going along with this, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
No,
If the movie had been more of that sequence, I would have been totally on board.
She has to run in sand, which is not easy.
No, it's not.
Is she wearing sandals
and then-
too? Those
Yeah,
flippy
she
flops?
flip-flops. And then she has to run across a busy street and almost get hit by a car. And then she runs into a back alley in her bikini, which is never safe. And then she's getting hit with seagulls and planes.
Okay,
Also,
but see,
that shot. There's that shot where you can actually see the cars almost hitting people and people dodging around. I was actually really stressed during that.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying is this movie needed more of that. That's what like movies like Armageddon and all those other movies all have is for each disaster we have a person that we care about, and that's what made that sequence work. And then you have other sequences where it's just cars being crashed with no people in them, and we don't really get. If there had been more
you
of that
had the
Rios
guy
thing,
in Hong Kong. You had the old lady in Japan. You had the guy.
old lady
the
did was
boy,
just like walk. We didn't.
Yes,
The boy and
you,
his
You had
dog.
the boy and his dog in Mumbai.
Awesome
didn't-
movie.
You had the couple taking a selfie in Russia.
But I think we didn't get like the Rio thing worked because we just like we saw these people before it happened and then we followed them.
She
and it was,
still
like, a
died,
whole-
by the way,
She still
because they cut out right when she was getting the plane essentially falling with shrapnel all around her. That's when they cut to them in the space station. We stopped the Geostorm or something like that. When they knocked the satellites out with the other satellites.
And I just yawned.
She
at
still
that whole
totally
plot.
died.
Oh, yeah.
They just
For
didn't
sure.
continue showing her.
Yeah, she probably it would have been cool to see her be like, "Oh, I made it," and then like she's
Jurassic
like,
World could have taken a lesson
dead
from
bird
that.
falls on her head.
A frozen seagull coming out of the sky would hurt.
Yeah.
That sound design for that was so funny.
Yeah.
So we're about at an hour here.
What?
Yeah,
Already?
I know. It's fun to talk about bad movies. What is like? We've already talked about the things that you loved about it. Give me something you don't like about this movie. You can't just love it through and through. That's impossible.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't. Shoot, we didn't talk about the other female character I enjoyed, though. The techie girl who was pulled straight out of
yeah.
Swordfish.
Dana.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget about her constantly.
So tech
She
stereotype.
was so pulled out of Swordfish. Like, she
Yeah.
could have gone right into that other
cool
movie.
hair.
Yeah.
Like I don't care that you have a girlfriend. I'm not in this for
Millennial Village or
relationships.
whatever. But
I can explain. We got wine cups.
But she was cool too, guys.
She was cool.
And no one questioned her on her abilities either.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
This movie did some things
They
right. I'll give
treated
you
their
that.
women
Feminists.
right. They
All
treated
right.
their women
All right.
really
The question
well in
though.
this movie.
The question though still stands.
And then Bangs. Because I don't remember her name in the movie. She just has those bangs from the 90s.
Who?
She was in the space station. She was one of the girls that Gerard Butler kept talking to.
Yeah.
She had like those hot dog bangs.
She has some wicked bangs.
Yeah.
She bangs. She bangs.
Oh,
But
she
okay.
moves.
Things I don't like about this movie. Well, the entire Democratic convention, the CGI was awful. Just atrocious. Like, yes, you can't afford an actual convention. Why? This is bad.
I bet that's part of the reshoots.
Yeah.
Really?
It's just, I like
You
all
loved
the,
everything about this movie.
not everything. I like how bad it is. I do. I enjoy how bad it is. But the daughter, yes, I don't really care about the daughter. I just don't care.
Okay, so we got the daughter and the CGI at the,
I
the
hate-
DNC convention.
I hate,
My God, I bought you
hate
the wrong Valentine's Day
narration.
present.
I hate the narration. I'm not a big
don't like
narration person. So having that in the beginning and the end of the movie, I'm like, well, shut up.
At least it's only bookended,
Yeah.
and not like throughout the whole thing.
Sturgis's hair. I already talked about how I don't like that.
Wow, you just love this movie. Like 9 out of 10.
You haven't
There's a
even
point
reached.
for the Sturgis hair, and that's it.
It's hard.
You haven't reached 5 things yet.
It's hard to talk about something I hated in a movie that I am willing to say is bad. There's a lot. The dialogue is bad. The characters are not great. All of it is bad, except I enjoy the badness.
I get that.
Which is different from the rest of everyone who watches this movie, and they don't enjoy the badness.
Yeah, I'll give you that much because like there's a lot of bad movies. Like Emma and I, we both love Battleship, and terrible movie.
You love
but
Battleship too? I've
Yeah.
never heard you express that.
We've
as
talked
many
about it.
times. All right.
I can't stand Battleship.
I
Great
know.
So
which I
it-
don't understand is you love this movie and you hate
I
Battleship.
can't.
You
stand
know what
Battleship.
Geostorm needed? You know what I'm going to say.
Chicken
A
burrito.
legless man
Oh,
boxing
yeah,
an
no.
alien.
And I would also add a chicken burrito to that. Can
I
I?
hated the fucking burrito thing.
That's
in
the
it.
best part of that movie.
No, it's not. It's the worst.
All right.
Taylor Kitsch is not likable.
Can I? I just got a couple notes.
is fascinating.
I would like to share that I wrote as I was watching this movie. What, did a computer write the screenplay after watching a bunch of disaster movies?
Did a computer? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, a computer
Like
write
a
this
smart
movie.
computer,
Yeah,
or like
okay.
an
Because it
ape
felt
with a
like
typewriter.
it
Sure,
felt like
sure.
it was cobbled together from like things a computer like watched movies and went, okay, these movies all have these elements.
Insert
and then went,
feelings.
They did that for Harry Potter. They had the computer write the next Harry Potter book, and it was delightful.
There's a lot of I think this is also one problem I have with this movie. There was a lot of things happen and then another thing happens instead of thing happening that necessitates another thing happening. There was a lot of like this lightning thing happened. Okay, now this other thing happened, and we never really saw like this causing this. Like you
I
do in a
need
lot
an
of disaster
example.
movies. I don't know.
Because when she smashes into the bad guy's car and pushes him into the
No,
lightning
I'm not talking
storm,
about that. I'm
was
talking about like
awesome.
we would just have like a thing happens in Rio. Okay, now a thing happens over here, and I know they're related to the weather satellite, but they just sort of seem like, oh, this happens, then this happens, then this happens, and I'd like to see some kind of like connective tissue of
See,
like.
but that's a weird complaint because again, that's exactly what happens in Armageddon, where pieces of an asteroid are just following into different parts of the world, and then you
But in
just see.
Armageddon, I understood why.
There's
In this
a
movie, it's
geostorm
like
happening. The satellites
but
are.
it makes no sense.
Okay,
Ow!
so here,
Here
hold on.
you just have a satellite who's targeting cities. In Armageddon, you had asteroids falling
Yeah,
from
but
the sky.
asteroids
But,
are
okay,
real
hold
things.
on. This is going to create so much anxiety for anybody driving in their car for this episode. But so I think where Emily's at is that, so like take for example Armageddon. Armageddon is there's an asteroid coming. There's small asteroids around it. They all smash into the
Yeah,
planet.
yeah.
This movie we have geostorms, but the movie never accurately sets up that this movie like that the planet is like at the end of the world. So if Dutch Boy, which we didn't even talk about how dumb the name is, but if Dutch Boy isn't working, the planet goes into it's dead. So like
It's attacking itself.
yeah, but I don't think the movie did a good enough job setting
I
up
did
the
not
fact that
understand.
like if Dutch Boy isn't on, everyone dies. Like they say it a few times, kind of like, oh, if Dutch Boy isn't working, then the whole planet's going to go into disarray. But then Dutch Boy blows up and everyone's fine. So like, so why is it when it blows up at the end okay?
NASA takes control of the satellites around the Earth
get it, they
until
try
they
to-
rebuild Dutch Boy.
In 6 months.
Yes, the time in this movie makes no sense. Everything happens really fast.
But I mean, just because they fix it with a line of dialogue doesn't mean that the rest of the movie is null and void. Like it's not like it doesn't like everything they established so far is that if Dutch Boy isn't on, even for a minute, the whole world just goes crazy.
See, I didn't get that at all. I thought Dutch
I
Boy was
did.
there to correct things that were happening, and if you turn it off, then you can't, like, if there's too much rain or too much snow, it can't be corrected.
Okay, I kind of got that vibe
But, like,
too.
if you... What they were doing was creating too many events in different places all at once, and then it's not fixable after that. Like, you fully
I got that
destroyed
much,
portions
yeah.
of the planet. But I didn't think the planet was in such disarray that if we turned it off, it would just implode on itself. I thought they were trying to make Earth implode on itself by using the Dutch Boy
was-
for evil.
he was trying to use Dutch Boy to target places that didn't agree with America,
Sure.
essentially.
But like Jim Sturgis has that line where he says, or it's I'm not sure if it's Jim Sturgis or Gerard Butler, but one of the two of them goes, "We can't let this happen. If Dutch Boy is off for even a minute, the whole world is in trouble."
Yeah, the whole world's at risk of terrible weather.
That's what I was getting from that line.
Yeah, but I get that. Yeah, the whole world's at risk, but that doesn't mean that it's all going to start immediately.
But that's what the fear. I mean, it's the classic fear of you don't want to give it a chance.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think they did a good enough job, at least for me, both times I saw this thing, explaining that they're using Dutch Boy to create the weather. Like, I get that
They
it
use it-
fixes the weather.
They create and fix weather, yeah.
Yeah.
Which people are currently trying to do.
Well, no, I know.
We need storm.
Yeah.
I-
well,
can
those
I
who
do
still
one-
believe in it, I guess.
I want to point one more thing out that really bugged me. He shoots a gun in a space station,
Oh my God,
and it
this-
hits a window, and the window like immediately cracks. What if you shoot a gun? Not that anyone should try this, but if you shoot a gun on a plane and you hit a window on the plane window is designed not to crack. How is a space station technology?
Gerard
in
Butler
space?
built this space station.
I told you, contractor.
Again, that's just a classic trope.
But
of
why
sci-fi.
are there guns in space? At least in
There is no
Armageddon,
window that
they
can
say, why
be
are
that
there guns
easily
up here?
destroyed
He cannot
on a
find-
fucking space
He
station.
can't find the
my
backup
God.
server room.
I understand that it's a complaint, but that's a complaint for every sci film that it happens in. Again, that also happened in Cloverfield Paradox.
Which I was like, why is that printable? You
It
shouldn't
happened-
have guns in space.
it happened
have
in
no guns
Aliens
in space.
4. It happens in so many movies.
But never is it done as well as in Armageddon when the line happens, why do you have a gun in
That's
space?
exactly.
It's so
Exactly.
good.
That's a really good question.
Well, they can't just do that again.
But it was an awesome
why,
moment.
Why not, though?
They can even hire the same actor. He's still around. And all he has to do is just show up for one scene to go, why do you have a gun in space?
Yeah, and he's doing that TV show that we watched 2 episodes of and went, no.
Oh, which one was that?
We're talking about
Is that William Fichtner?
I
I
thought it
never
was Steve
remember
Buscemi
his
who
name.
said, "Why do you have a gun in space?"
No, it's the guy he
Because
played.
he sees him pull it out of the
Yeah,
safe
William
first.
Fichtner's the one who has the gun.
Yeah.
I thought it was the Russian guy in Armageddon.
No, the
Oh,
guy says, "Why do you have a
Russian
gun?"
guy.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the guy says, "Why do you have a gun in space?" Was the guy who played the coach in Remember the Titans.
Oh my god.
I
What
never
is
saw
happening?
that movie.
It's a lot of circling here.
We're losing John.
I just imitated
podcast.
everyone listening to the podcast.
Oh, I have to move on to quotes now.
I was trying to let you say,
There
"Oh,
were-
it's time
okay.
for quotes," not trying to correct the
I
episode
will.
for you.
I will give this movie credit for having some really great quotes.
I'm going first because if anyone takes mine, I would be heartbroken. So, in the last third of this movie, as I said before, I do start enjoying it, and it's like I enjoy it because I feel like maybe the last third was kind of where the original movie was, where it's kind of campy
The
and
last
stupid.
third
and-
is getting to what everybody else wanted, which was just the wall-to-wall destruction at the
Exactly.
for the whole 2 hours, I guess.
But it turned into that, like, what I think you watch the whole movie and I only get in the last third, where it's like, oh, it's like kind of the classic, like, disaster movie. And as I'm watching it both at home, because I forgot it happened, and then in theaters, where they're getting to the point, I'm like, man, this movie just needs somebody to go, you son of a bitch. And then somebody fucking does it, and I was so happy. So it was after Gerard Butler sacrificed himself and then didn't, and he got saved, and the guy who was somehow, it doesn't matter, so a guy saves him and he grabs onto his like escape pod thing, and then he looks out the window and sees him and goes, Hernandez, you son of a bitch. And I was so happy.
And then he says, "Thank the Mexican."
Yeah. Again, this weird nationalism that doesn't go anywhere. But okay.
Does it need to go anywhere? People are just
But they
nationalistic
just
in
keep
life.
saying it. I expected it to go somewhere.
To go to Mexico.
They try to have it go somewhere in one line where they say, now Dutch Boy is all of ours.
That's like
Like
Volcano.
that kid from Volcano.
That's the
Oh,
Volcano
but that
ending.
was, again, the worst part of Volcano.
I need to rewatch Volcano. John,
Well,
go.
okay, I got one because it just kind of encapsulates the ridiculousness we've been talking about. But where I found the humor in the kind of the weird logic of the movie, it's when he found the hacker up on the space station. He's like, you can't spend the money if there's no planet left. He's like, we'll be saving all the best bits off the planet. I'm like, where? How? And he just decks him and like knocks him out of the air. I'm like, okay, but like you could actually see it in the actor's face too. Like that line was like, wait, yeah, he's right. I guess I should give up. Like,
Yeah, it's dumb.
I chose when Andy Garcia takes out Ed Harris, and he's like, how'd you do that? And Andy Garcia says, how? Because I'm the goddamn president of the United States of America.
Where was the rest? Why wasn't this in the whole movie?
Do you want to go back?
Sure. I picked when Gerard Butler flew up to space all by himself to get onto the space station. He looks around at the space station and he goes, "Look at you, girl, living and breathing."
I liked it. Was it you or who was complaining about the fuel usage?
Me.
It was you. Okay.
I also complained about it to you. I had to pause the movie and come into the room where you were to bitch about it.
Global warming is what we're trying to prevent.
Right?
And we put one
Right?
man with no supplies in a
Very good
space station.
point.
What
the fuck?
Those space shuttles are running off of corn syrup. Okay, guys.
Oh, cool. Sure. Why not?
Or something. I don't know. I can't defend that. But he did look very happy, and how happy he looked to go into space is probably reminiscent to how I would look if I got to go to space.
No.
See, he
Too
lived
many
in space,
space
didn't he?
movies,
I mean,
no.
like, this is like, he's just going back to space.
But I would just be so happy if I got to go to space.
It would be fun. Talk to Elon Musk. We're friends, right?
No.
Yeah, sure.
Space.
My quote is from the character we didn't really talk about, and what is her actress's name? Let me look that up really fast.
Dana the hacker girl, or
Dana the hacker girl, yeah.
I think that's how it is in the script, actually.
Dana.
Dana the hacker girl. No, so Dana, the hacker girl.
Her
Just
name is she was played by Zazia Beetz.
She's in the next Deadpool movie.
She is.
Uh-huh.
She's Domino, isn't
Oh,
she?
she's Domino.
Oh.
I look forward to seeing her. I like
She
Domino.
should be awesome as Domino.
Yeah.
That was a solid casting choice.
Okay, it's from her. And the quote I enjoyed was, when she's trying to decide if she wants to help him or not. He's just like, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. And she's like, no, it's okay. But it's just kind of like when you're going on a roller coaster eating Chipotle. I'm like, oh, I feel you, girl.
time back into the burrito.
I know exactly what that emotion's like, and I just don't eat Chipotle, but I would go on that roller coaster.
Did you think of a review system?
Oh yeah, I gotta do that. All right, fine. Horrible movies that you were the only one who likes it.
Batman vs Superman. I can go first.
Or just any movie that you think legitly
I'm kidding,
should
I
be
would never
more
use that.
appreciated, and no one else seems to.
I'm not going to use Batman vs Superman because I actually think that movie's a legitimately great movie, and I can't do that to Geostorm, so I'll go with Suicide Squad. Because it's terrible. It's just pure garbage through and through, but there's something to that movie that I just enjoy. I got to see Harley Quinn, and I thought Margot Robbie did a pretty cool job with Harley Quinn. I actually really like Will Smith as Deadshot. I think that was actually a really good casting choice. The guy who got as Diablo, he was great. There's lots of really good things in just the worst package. And I have a feeling that's kind of how you feel about Geostorm, although I think you like the packaging a little bit more than I do for Suicide Squad, but that's where I'll
I
go.
don't know, I have to rewatch Suicide Squad. I haven't watched that in a long time.
Oh, it's not good.
Oh, it's awful.
It's real bad.
I'm going with Johnny Mnemonic.
I've never seen Johnny
that movie.
Mnemonic.
I love that movie. It's not good, but it's really, there's a really great speech where Keanu Reeves just bitches because he wants a sandwich. And I think that is, I felt him in
bitches
that
about
moment.
wanting a
He's
sandwich?
like, I want a cold Mexican beer. I want a sandwich. I want clean laundry. I don't know the exact quote, but like it's an amazing speech. And I just find that movie really enjoyable and ridiculous. And Ice-T is in it. So
I mean, you can't go wrong with Ice-T in a movie.
Whatever. If you were in the 80s or early 90s, whenever he was still a singer, and then be like, Ice-T's going to be a respected actor on like real adult things.
yeah.
Let's
You would
cool
not have thought
let's
that
cool
from
that
Johnny
respected
Mnemonic.
word, but he is definitely an actor in adult things.
I don't,
Yes,
because
he
I don't want
cashes
to
a check
sully
every week.
Yeah,
I
he
don't want to
does.
sully Battleship by comparing it to Geostorm.
That's
But
how,
I will.
that's how I felt about BVS.
Yeah.
I have one, and I love this movie, and it is terrible. Ghost Ship with Juliana Margulies.
I don't remember if I think I saw
Oh my
parts
god,
of that.
this movie
One of the
is
best openings ever.
Oh, I
Amazing.
can't. That is the. I can't with that.
You hate it? Or
Oh no,
love
it's
it?
just it's too terrifying. It gives me fucking nightmares.
Huh. What's the opening?
Okay.
Oh, the wire.
Don't tell her. If she hasn't seen
don't-
it,
okay,
don't
you
tell
should
her. It's
watch
so
it.
fucking
The
awesome.
point
your own.
is, it's a movie about salvagers who find an old cruise ship and then are haunted, and like it's just like I can't even describe it. It's amazingly terrible. But I bought it on iTunes and I was like, yes, this is happening. No regrets, no apologies, but this is comparable.
Okay.
That's how I feel about 13 Ghosts.
Same director.
Really?
Yeah, true story.
Not surprised.
awesome.
That's awesome. 13 Ghosts is amazing.
I haven't seen that either.
It's like VR Ghost. It's the weirdest movie. Only see ghosts if you wear special glasses. And if you wear the
Matthew-
special glasses, they can kill the fuck
Wait,
out
is
of you.
that
Matthew
the-
Lillard.
They can kill
Matthew
you without-
Lillard.
Is that
What?
the movie?
No,
that
they
had
can kill you
Brian-
without the glasses.
Okay, and they can-
to say, then why would you ever just
No, they can kill you without the glasses. I found the creepiest part back in the day when I rented it at Blockbuster was
On
when-
VHS, I'm sure.
No, DVD.
Ooh.
I was a lady. But they had a special section where they broke down each ghost and like how they died and what their story was.
Oh, yeah.
That was far creepier to watch than the movie in its entirety,
Yeah.
but still fully enjoyable.
Matthew Lillard's in it too.
Was that
It's
the
the movie
amazing.
that had the girl from American Pie, and they're like, she's not just the sexy European.
Shannon Elizabeth.
Yes,
Oh, she's the
in
daughter,
that.
yeah.
She's totally in that. Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
supposed to
Currently
be
on
like her
Celebrity Big
breakout
Brother.
movie.
Oh, that's yeah.
Tony Shalhoub's in it.
It's they're in a house that's made of clear glass. I mean, there's a lot
It's a
of
clockwork
stuff
house made of glass.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
A lawyer
amazing.
gets
Scary.
sliced in half
That
at one
sounds like
point.
terrible design.
Yeah.
Oh.
Such an awesome
But
movie.
there's a
Not like
reason for
torture
it.
porn
There's a
movies.
reason for all of it.
All right, John, you got a movie?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with three of them, but one in specific. It's the Hobbit trilogy, but the Battle of the Five Armies, the last one.
Oh, the movie that didn't need to be a movie.
Right, exactly. Whereas like I still like there's a lot of arguments that you made for this movie that I just find myself doing that too. Where it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, no, I can see why you think that's bad or why like that is bad. I still really enjoy it. I love this world. I love being in the world, and there's enough of those jokes that don't land for everyone else that still land for me in it. So.
The only reason I don't like that movie is because I feel like they should have just put it in the second Hobbit movie.
Yeah.
Just make the second Hobbit movie 5 hours long. It makes more sense.
Oh yeah.
Or just, make one Hobbit movie.
It would have been.
Yeah. But see, like that's the thing. It's like, yeah, those critiques, I would find myself being like, oh yeah, sure. I would watch it again. I'd put it on the if I had it.
Lee Pace is a sexy beast.
Oh yeah.
He sure as shit is.
Not that I condone, illegally downloading things, but there is a fan cut of all 3 Hobbit movies into one 3-ish hour movie, and it's fucking great. Not that I'm saying you should go download that immediately, but you should go download that immediately.
The
You should
NSA is
not
listening
go
to
download
us.
that immediately. Not.
Don't not do that.
What? What just happened?
A lot of negatives.
Brian's
I
saying
think
a lot of
That's me
things-
watching this movie. I think that's why I did not understand.
Bringing
Geostorm,
it around.
Is I would just be staring into space and be like, "What?" and then look back at the movie and something explodes.
Although I
It
think
also helps that I find Gerard Butler to be a very attractive man.
he looks like he got bit by a snake in this movie.
Oh.
Did you enjoy watching his hairline change continuously?
His
Because you
weight
went-
also changed.
His
Yeah,
weight
because you
changes
went for the
dramatically.
reshoots,
Yeah.
not reshoots,
Yeah.
reshoots, not reshoots.
It's like, I'm a little chubby, I'm buff. I'm a little chubby, I'm buff. It's like,
Yeah, last
see a
night
doctor.
I'm shooting the second half of something that shot upstate and I wasn't a part of before. So last night, one of our 2 leads just goes, "Yeah, I lost 10 pounds since we shot the first stuff," and I just looked at her and was like, "What?" And she was just like, "Yeah, no, I don't think anybody's gonna notice." And I was like, "No, why?"
In the age of HD, yes.
It's also fun to go back and watch Sweeney Todd and be like, all right, which scene is she pregnant? Which scene is she not pregnant? Pregnant? Not pregnant.
did you go? Did
What?
you pick a movie?
No, she is not.
Oh, I'm supposed to pick one.
Yeah. I have to do it every week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I feel like you're just killing time while I was thinking of a movie and you forgot to
I
think about a
wasn't
movie
even
while killing
thinking
time.
about it. I was engaging. Oh, actually, I was thinking about it earlier. I wasn't even thinking about the review system, but it's very accurate. Down Periscope.
Is that an unpopular movie?
Sadly, yes.
Oh, I enjoyed that movie.
That movie is bad. It really
Yeah, it is bad.
It is so bad.
It's enjoyable.
There's on rewatch. There's so many sexist.
Yeah, I was about to
so
say, I
much
bet it's really
dialogue.
sexist.
So sexist, but I still enjoyed watching it.
That's because we're all part of the generation where it was on TV on a constant
Yeah.
basis.
That's true. And it had Kelsey Grammer in it.
Yeah,
I saw it in theaters.
You see everything
even
in theaters.
rewatching Frasier, I'm like Kelsey Grammer is just a misogynist dickhole,
Yeah.
but I still enjoy him. Yeah, down Periscope, guys.
All right.
I have it. I have my original. I bought it from Blockbuster DVD that has the stickers still on it.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Oh, we had to bring it to a close.
No, well, did you do yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all went. Everybody.
Do we have any other plugs?
Yeah, I can plug next week's episode, which I am so excited to talk about, and I had to specially line it up when Emily could not be on because she would not have watched this movie.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to Gallifrey 1 next weekend, everybody.
So we are talking about It next weekend.
Ooh, nice.
That's gonna be
Yay, I don't
great.
have to watch
Nice.
it.
I am so excited to talk about
Nice.
it. And I wanted to make sure I didn't torture Emily.
Thank
and
you. I
make it-
appreciate that. That would have been
I was
really
thinking,
hard.
like, is there any way we can cut it where you just don't actually see the clown?
I even messaged her a while ago. I'm like, all right, what weekend can you for sure not
Yeah.
be here? And I'll put it there.
I appreciate that very much. I don't know what I would have done. Like,
Go on.
I just
Sit.
imagine you'd probably sit it out. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have blamed you, but so it'll work out. So I'm very
Okay.
excited to talk about that one. And then after that, we have, which unfortunately, because she'll still be at Gallifrey 1, we have to do 2 in 1 weekend. We're doing our battle of Best Picture winners. So we will all eventually we will loop back around and talk
No
about
one's
them.
allowed to choose Crash because I wanted to talk about that dumb movie.
Now I feel like I must choose Crash,
No.
but I would definitely lose that fight. Okay, so and then we also have our website athpod.com, where I still have my article up there, which has been getting some traction, which I appreciate.
You made the guy at Flickchart mad.
I did make the guy at Flickchart mad.
Congratulations.
Turns out when you talk about how ranking movies is a bad idea, the guy who created a website for ranking movies isn't a fan.
What?
But yeah, so we can do that. I'd highly appreciate anybody sharing and reading. It's been pretty cool. I'm working on an article now about Persona 5, which will be for all of like 5 people, but I enjoy writing it because it was a fun time.
No, and it's a good article too. I definitely agree.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then what else? Spotify playlist. Check out our Spotify playlist. If you're still listening to this today, it is still for 50 Shades of Darker, Freed.
50 Shades
Our
Freed.
50 Shades of Freed playlist is probably better than the movie.
Well, there was a distinction though between playlist that was inspired by the movie, which is a very fucked up relationship, versus songs about fucking, and I think we all went with songs about fucking.
Yeah. Well, I had one.
preferred.
I had one cuddling song on there, and I put that at the end of the playlist. That's all I have, though. Do you want to say goodbye?
Oh, well, thank you for coming, everybody. I hope there's other people out there that enjoy Geostorm. If not, that's fine. Hate it, but, rent it. Give Warner Brothers some more money.
If you did like it, why don't you message us
they don't
in?
need more
Like,
money.
They kind of do that. A bad 2017.
Yeah, not as
This
bad
is
as
how they learn their
Paramount.
lessons, though.
Paramount still had the worst 2017.
Ray from Monster Trucks.
Yes. Mother was really good, but no one went to see it.
Oh, yeah, Paramount's in trouble.
Yeah. All right. All right. Love you guys. Sign off. Bye.
bye.